WJAY editorial. The Five Boroughs Under the Party. A warning from a collectivized New York. To understand the true consequences of a communist system, one must look past abstract theories and imagine its mechanics applied to the world's most vibrant capitalist symbol, New York City. The promise of total state control is always wrapped in the language of fairness and equity. However, if the state were to seize the means of production, housing, and commerce in this metropolis, the resulting reality would be a worker's paradise. It would be the systematic dismantling of everything that makes New York livable. The transformation would begin with the total elimination of private property, turning the city's housing market into a bureaucratic nightmare. And under a centralized regime, apartment buildings from the Upper West Side to Flatbush would be nationalized. The results of state-managed housing are entirely predictable. Without competition or property incentives, brownstones and high-rises would fall into immediate decay. Choice apartments would not go to the needy, but to loyal party bureaucrats and political insiders. Large family apartments would be subdivided by state decree, forcing strangers into cramped shared living spaces. And the freedom to move, upgrade, or rent an apartment on your own terms would vanish behind years of government paperwork. The economic engine of the city would grind to a halt as central planners replaced the free market. The bodegas of Washington Heights, the garment shops of Midtown, and the theaters of Broadway would be swallowed by state monopolies. Independent commerce would be outlawed, leading to a grim, gray daily existence. New Yorkers would face chronic shortages, standing in hours-long ration lines outside barren supermarkets for basic staples like milk and bread. A massive, dangerous black market would inevitably emerge, turning ordinary citizens into criminals just for buying black market coffee or unregulated winter coats. Most devastatingly, the fiercely independent spirit of New York would be crushed under absolute censorship. The city's historic media outlets, independent publishing houses, and universities would become mouthpieces for state propaganda. Art, music, and comedy would be strictly vetted for political compliance, replacing cultural innovation with forced ideological conformity. Dissent on the streets of Manhattan would be met with immediate surveillance, neighborhood informants, and political imprisonment, turning the city that never sleeps into a city that watches its back in terror. Communism fails because it attempts to organize humanity by force, a mechanism that destroys the individual initiative required to sustain a complex society. Applied to New York City, it would replace the dynamic, messy prosperity of millions of individuals with the crushing, equalized misery of a totalitarian state. The lesson remains clear. When you give the state the power to dictate everything, you give it the power to destroy everything. What's your opinion? We'd like to know.